Nearly one-third of athletes have sustained previously undiagnosed concussions, according to the AAP News. Football is the sport that has the highest rate of concussions per 10,000 exposures. When a player suffers a concussion, they are much more likely to suffer another one. And the CDC reports that having more than one concussion can cause depression, anxiety, aggression, personality changes, and an increased risk of Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, CTE, and other brain disorders. That is why my group, consisting of Rohan Duraipandi, Jack Iwinski, and Connor Boyle, has come up with the product, the Accel Helmet, that will help bring more awareness to these concussions. We began the research process by looking up existing products and patents and putting them into matrices to see what works in these existing products and patents and what doesn't, and then implemented the information gathered from the matrices into our own individual sketches, which we then each compared and contrasted to see which parts worked.
After researching and surveying, we decided it would be most effective to develop a protective helmet cover that used silicone tubing as padding. We chose this because it would be an inexpensive product that could help introduce parents who are skeptical about playing tackle football, and it would be challenging for us to make a helmet that could compete with what is already on the market. We also realize that concussions are often undiagnosed, and that is a major problem. Less than half of U.S. high school football players sustaining a concussion reported their symptoms. So, with that in mind, we decided to implement an accelerometer that would be able to connect to the player's or coach's phone and notify them if the player sustains an impact severe enough to cause a concussion. We also designed our padding after the VG01 reflex layer. So we use short lengths of silicone tubing and align them in the columns using a polycarbonate sheath to form our padding.
With the finished prototype, we then began the testing of the product. We were able to do both the control group and experimental group with accurate data. Our test was a simple drop test in which the helmet was dropped onto a concrete sidewalk with varying heights. Unfortunately, the prototype did not survive 3 different trials, and so we only got 2 drops. Our analysis of the test was that we should have used something stronger than super glue to hold all the parts together, as none of the plastic or silicone tubing broke. An ideal solution to the problem would be to drill holes into the helmet and place screws that secured the extra layers to the helmet. We then were able to test the control group and had 3 successful trials. Looking at the graphs, the drop tests without padding had more Gs overall, which proves that the padding helped. These tests further prove that the accelerometer was a great addition to the standard football helmets and can help coaches and athletes be more aware of the impacts. In conclusion, the overall idea of the prototype with 2 added layers and an accelerometer was a great improvement. However, the execution of putting the parts of the helmet together was flawed. As stated earlier, the biggest mistake was using super glue to hold all the pieces together. With more time and more materials, we would have drilled in screws to hold the layers together better.